I have been doing a dive that I think at first, Chris, you're going to roll your eyes on. But hear me out. Hear me out. This is a progression, so I'm going to describe to you a progression of explorations I've been doing this week.
This is
I'm
how
hoping it lands
us.
somewhere where you're more excited by the trajectory, but just, hear me out for how my week went. So my main goal for this week, or actually for the last little while floating in my mind, has been trying to find a somewhat friendly server, like plug-in, ready to go, turnkey, self-hosted server OS for like friends and family that they can run that I don't have to run for them.
Outsourcing your admin. All right.
I know that's a big ask, but like I have some somewhat technically minded friends and family who can once they have the right setup, they could just do it themselves, and they don't really need me to be involved. I just need to point them to the show now and then they just get themselves in trouble. So I've been looking for that style of OS, and as you know, we've been suggesting NixOS for that kind of system because it's self-documenting and all of the reasons we've mentioned in the show. So I went spelunking and tried to find, okay, what are the modern options that are available these days? Last time I looked into this space was many years ago, and I have a couple friends of the show who keep telling me about, they're like, Brent, just run this. This is the way to go. So this week I wanted to see if that was actually the truth and, basically which bugs I could find, because it seems to always happen to me.
Oh.
So I started with the obvious one. Chris, is where you roll your eyes, so cue eye rolling. TrueNAS Scale was recommended to me so many numbers of times, but I have actually never deployed it or played with it. So I thought, okay, I'm going to give this a good little test, deploy this on real hardware where I can actually see if this works for A, my workflow, so that I could tolerate installing it for people, and B, for other people's workflow, so it has to be kind of point and click, ready to go. It has to be able to run things like containers and VMs if you want it to. But for the most part, most apps that we like here in our community are kind of, a couple clicks to deploy and they're ready to go. I don't know when is the last time you boys played with TrueNAS. Chris, you ran TrueNAS for a very long time, and you have various strong opinions about it. So can you inform us in a very quick way of what those opinions were and when the last time is you played with this?
I don't really have a problem with TrueNAS per se. I think it's a pretty good product. I just don't particularly like these things having a GUI, because I learned the GUI pretty well the first time I set it up, when I'm kind of in the learning phase that you're in now, and then I deploy it, and then I don't touch it for 6 months or a year, and I come back and I can't figure out how to do anything. And then, you wait and they release a new version and the UI changes, and it's like, okay. Whereas the command line, it just doesn't change. So those are my personal reasons. I think it's a good product. And I think they've done good work with it. I don't know. I think the first time or the last time I tried TrueNAS myself would probably be when they first launched TrueNAS Scale. Kind of checked it out. It was a little rough at that time, but I think it's come a long way since then. I don't think, it's interesting you bring this up, because a parallel for me personally is Proxmox.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I also have struggled in the same way with Proxmox. However, we do have a system here at JB called the Moose that runs Proxmox, and we've been using it, and it's fine. It's not bad, actually. And if I interact with it via the API, I don't mind it at all, because then I can integrate it with certain system actions to take snapshots and whatnot. So, there's positive sides to it as well.
It does have a robust API, and that's always a big selling point in our book.
I mean, if you're looking for something for friends and family, Wes, what would you recommend? Like say your brother or somebody what would you recommend if they wanted a NAS? Maybe TrueNAS is the one you recommend, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a lot going for it. It might not be what we would do, but that's not really the right test, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would never, deploy this for OS, right?
Mm-hmm. But, you do get a good team behind it, a long history. There's good open source, stuff involved. I don't hate that idea.
Yeah.
It might depend on which NAS, if you were going to, which one you were, if you were going to end up getting somewhat familiar, which one you were the most interested in, kind of having to learn some about.
This could be another area too, where the audience could boost in and tell us, what type of NAS in a box systems they like.
And is
So
it just
what I
going
liked
to
about
be like Samba or NFS that appears on the network? Do you need like a web file system thing? Are you going to be trying to run Docker containers or other stuff on
Managing
it?
a RAID.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us so far what you found appealing about it, Brent.
Well, A was so many high recommendations from community members and friends. That was the main reason. I've always hesitated towards it for similar reasons to you, Chris, is like the GUI interface is interesting to me because sometimes you just want to deploy something super quickly. But if you get familiar with some of the underlying technology, then you can do that and also be able to customize it in ways that they didn't. It's kind of the Mac OS problem I ran into is like, I used Mac OS for years doing photography stuff, but anytime I tried to do anything they didn't want me to, it was a total headache. So enter Linux, that's why I got into it in the first place. So, but the other reasons was that it's quite popular. So chances are anything these friends or family want to deploy, if it's a, little in-house Nextcloud server, if it's a, recipe manager that we mentioned on the show, that kind of thing, it's probably available in their sort of blessed or even community deployment, one-click solutions. So I gave it a go as a, little test for a couple hours. And I have to say, yeah, smooth, as everybody suggested. The fact that ButterFS is not an option was kind of, my feelings about ButterFS. But ZFS is like super well regarded, so all good there. But there's one thing that drove me bananas, and I want to know if anybody else ran into this. So I'm setting up this new system, and I, want to deploy a bunch of apps. So like Home Assistant, I want to deploy maybe like a piece of invoicing software I want to deploy. I want to deploy like Sync Thing. And so I got this like list of apps that I want to grab from their blessed play, and just like, let's install all of them at the same time. I'm setting up this server, and I got so frustrated because the interface is basically a one tab kind of thing. So if you move between tabs, it logs you out of the other tabs that you have open.
Oh boy.
So like multitasking on the user interface is not possible.
Right, because you're trying to do like, I got this going in this tab and that going in this other tab.
Yeah, you click like, okay, install Home Assistant. Well, that's going to take, I got a low piece of hardware here, super low power use. It's going to take a couple minutes. I want to keep doing stuff.
Right.
You can't do that.
I'll tell you, so I guess I'm of two minds of this now.
Yeah.
If you're making recommendations for friends and family and you never want to manage it, this makes sense. If it's something you're going to manage, I'll tell you, you're kind of going about it like a guy who hasn't been paying attention to the fact that the world changed the last 3 weeks. Maybe you're still thinking about this.
I thought you were going to say he hasn't listened to our fake NAS journey.
I think maybe he's still thinking about this in 2025 terms and not 2026 terms. So really, all a guy's got to do now is get themselves a basic Nix config, go get open code, use the free Minimax model that's included right now that's absolutely fantastic and open source, have it generate the config you need, check it into a GitHub, and then check it down to the machines. If you need to change something, add a share. You open up open code again. You say, hey, open code, add a Samba share to this config, check it into the GitHub. They check it out. They rebuild. Now they got a Samba share. I mean, I think the world of going and you doing it is slowly but quickly at the same time. It's weirdly just passing. For example, like all this stuff has an API now. So why are you like a monkey pushing the button waiting for your little cookie?
You know what you want. Just get that.
It just doesn't make sense anymore. And you don't have to do it this way. And so that's where we are at least going. And so I don't know if these GUI-driven, very complicated configuration management systems under the hood are really going to be very successful in a paradigm where I open up a Telegram chat and I say, add a Samba share to custodian, and 3 minutes later I have a Samba share with the permissions that I want for the users that I want, and it's done. right? And that's all possible because I'm using APIs and I'm using Nix config and et cetera. That's where this is going. And so in that world, when a friend or a family wants to share, they have a Telegram bot of yours that they're in a group chat with, and they say, hey, add this thing, and then your agent just goes and deploys it for them, and you don't ever get involved with it. And so when you're traveling across the country, you don't have to worry about the tech support. Now, I mean, or you build it for the way we used to do it. And that would be where I think TrueNAS would work really well. And they probably have an API too. So when you do finally get off your duff, you could probably point OpenCode or an agent at it and have it manage it.
And also, just worth saying, you can tweak a lot of that, right? You don't have to use GitHub, use any GitForge or system you want. Yeah. You don't have to have it. You can have as many human in the loop gates as you want, approve the PRs yourself or don't, review stuff, tell it exactly what you want. You know, I'm just saying, you get to pick and choose all that, which makes it really, you can fit it to exactly what you want.
I'm being sarcastic just because I'm trying to make people realize there's a shift here of how you think about this kind of stuff. And
so let me quickly progress on this journey because it led to a place that's more interesting.
All right, okay.
TrueNAS, which I think hopefully is going to make you feel better, not kick me off the show.
No. I actually think TrueNAS. It's fine.
We just going to call you our TrueNAS correspondent. We're just going to have to live with that.
Our chief TrueNAS correspondent.
It might be better than, Thought Simulator.
So I was basically curious, what's the TrueNAS alternatives of that? We've heard a lot about Open Media Vault and those other ones, but a lot of them were actually surprisingly unmaintained from what I could tell, or very slowly maintained. But I discovered one from a well-regarded hardware manufacturer in our space also, the Zima board folks, or ZimaCube. You know these guys?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, accidentally discovered that they have ZimaOS, which they run on their devices. And this is kind of like the Mac brand of single-board computers out there, I would say, from what I can tell. I've never run one, but I know a couple people who have, and they really like them. And ZimaOS is trying to solve the exact same problem. And I thought it was really interesting. I haven't heard anybody talk about ZimaOS. It is interesting in that it does support ButterFS, for instance, and it also uses an image-based system to, I think it's using Buildroot on the back end to deploy images instead of kind of doing the old generic way of deploying software. So it's formerly called CASOS, if you remember that name at all, and it focuses on x86 systems completely. So our kind of thing. I thought it was kind of interesting too. I ran it as well because I felt like that was fair. It is only limited to 4 disks unless you want to pay a $30 lifetime license. And it kind of lacked a lot of single deployment options, but the ones that are blessed seem to work really well and people seem to like them. So that, I kind of explored that too, just looking for alternatives. But then I discovered a project that I think you're really going to like. And I'm a little embarrassed by this one. You'll hear for a moment. It's called Clan. I don't know if either of you have landed on Clan.
Oh no, I've been not super closely, but I know Clan.
Clan.lol.
And I know why you're a little bit ashamed too.
Okay, good.
I love the domain.
So clan.lol is a wonderful domain, but it's basically an opinionated NixOS peer-to-peer computer management framework. So take your NixOS and throw a bit of a layer on top of it with some opinions by experts who know a lot more what they're doing than I do and are using extremely modern NixOS ways of accomplishing and solving this problem. So it automatically deploys peers for you. It automatically sets up your mesh VPN if you want. They're using zero tier in this case, but you can use others if you want. It's using NixOS Anywhere and Disco, and it does peer-to-peer backups with Borg just automatically. Secrets with SoftNix. So it's like a slight abstraction layer on top of NixOS is the best way that I could describe it at this point of my discovery. The reason I'm slightly embarrassed about it is that I actually knew about Clan years ago because our dear friend of the show, Kenji, was very sweet, thank you, Kenji, and brought me to a Christmas market in Berlin because I had never experienced such a thing. And we had this beautiful discussion about this new project he's involved in. And he talked all about this really cool framework using, mesh VPNs that are auto-deployed. But he never mentioned the name of it, or at least it didn't click in my mind. So I've known about this project for a couple of years and never actually clued into what it was or discovered it any more than just hearing about it from a close friend. And then I realized this week that I just discovered a project I already knew about. But I think I might just dive in. So I want to know from the community, has anybody used Clan other than, our Berlin NixOS representatives, Kenji and Lassless, because they both work on this and are pushing the envelope. Has anybody used it? Do you want us to try it? I think I might just try it. It sounds really interesting. But if anyone has any experience with it, I want to know how it went.
It does sound pretty interesting, I have to say.
There you go. Did I redeem myself?
Yeah. Yeah, you pulled out a surprise there. That is good. I'd love to hear anybody else's experience with it. Huh.
Yeah, how far are you going to take this? Is it you're going to go deploy a bunch of Clan?
I mean, isn't that the only way?
I think it might be. I want to hear it from you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think I will, because I feel like I'm looking for a bunch of opinionated ways to do all of this instead of the weird, crazy, scrappy way I'm currently doing it.
Well, that's exciting.
That is exciting. I want to know keep us posted. I want to know how it goes.
Will do.
All right.
Will do.